Welcome to the deep dive. We got a really interesting one today, focusing on something, well, something you likely interact with every single day, probably without even realizing it.
Hmm.
It's fundamental to the safety, the reliability of massive structures, tiny components, everything really.
Yeah.
We're talking about non-destructive testing, NDT for short.
Yeah, it's basically the art and science of checking things for flaws or defects without having to break them first.
Right.
Think inspecting airplane wings, pipelines, bridges, even, critical car part.
Because if you had to
Or
break it to test it.
you wouldn't have anything left to use.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the unseen guardian, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
quality in so many vital industries. And today we're taking a deep dive into a specific source. You brought us a detailed market report on the global NDT market.
That's right.
Our mission basically is to cut through the data, pull out the essential insights for you. The size, the growth, what's driving it,
What's holding it back?
what's holding it back, yeah, where the hotspots are geographically, and the competitive landscape. And spoiler alert, the numbers in this report point to a market that's already, well, pretty substantial.
Oh, yeah.
And it's set for some seriously rapid expansion.
The trajectory laid out in this report is certainly impressive. It shows a field that's not just, staying relevant, but actively evolving, growing fast.
Okay, so let's start with that big picture then. What does the report tell us about the current size of this global NDT market?
Okay, looking at 2025, which the report uses as its baseline year,
Right.
the global NDT market is estimated at just under USD 19 billion. Specifically, USD 18,947.3 million.
Okay, let's call it USD 18.9 billion. That's a significant market size right now.
Definitely.
But you mentioned rapid expansion. Where's the forecast say this is headed?
Well, by 2033, the report projects that figure to more than double. It's expected to reach USD 298.15 million.
Wow, more than USD 44 billion. That's an incredible jump in just, what, 8 years?
Yeah, it's pretty steep growth.
What kind of growth rate does that translate to, like, annually?
So over that forecast period, 2025 to 2033, the market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR,
Okay.
of 11.2%.
11.2% CAGR. For a market already pushing $20 billion, that is really robust growth.
It really is. It signals strong underlying demand.
And the report, just for context for you listening, bases this on historical data from 2021-2024 and then forecasts out to 2033.
Right, so we're looking at a solid view of the recent past and what looks like a strong projection for the near future.
So, okay, what's fueling this nearly, well, more than doubling in market size over the decade? What are the main engines driving this growth, according to the report?
The report points to a few key drivers. One major one is just continuous advancements in the inspection technologies themselves.
The tool's getting smarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about sophisticated techniques like advanced ultrasonic testing and digital radiography becoming more capable, more widespread. And hand in hand with that is the rising adoption of NDT across critical sectors. Industries like aerospace, automotive, oil and gas.
Right, places where you just can't afford failure.
They're integrating NDT deeper into their processes. Yeah, precision and safety are absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Which leads directly into the third major driver, the impact of strict government regulations and industry standards.
The compliance angle.
Right. Safety and reliability aren't just, good practice. They're often legally mandated. And these regulations are constantly evolving, often requiring more rigorous testing.
It seems like, yeah, technology industry needs and regulatory pressure are all pushing in the same direction, creating this strong growth.
Pretty much a perfect storm for growth, yeah.
But where there's growth, there can also be friction, right? Does the report mention any significant restraints or roadblocks?
Yes, it does. It highlights two primary challenges. The first one is a lack of skilled professionals.
The talent gap.
Exactly. Performing and, maybe more importantly, interpreting advanced NDT requires specialized knowledge and training.
Right.
And there just aren't always enough qualified people to meet the growing demand.
That makes sense. As the tech gets more sophisticated, the human expertise needed to, wield it effectively becomes a bottleneck.
It can be, yeah. And the second restraint mentioned is the high initial investment costs.
For the equipment.
Yeah, for adopting some of these advanced NDT technologies.
Yeah.
Getting set up with the latest kit can be a significant capital expenditure for companies.
Okay, so we've got powerful drivers pushing things forward, but skills and cost are potential speed bumps. What about emerging trends? What does the report point to there?
Well, beyond the broad tech advancements we mentioned, the report specifically calls out the increasing adoption of advanced ultrasonic and digital radiography techniques as a key trend.
Okay.
And kind of reflecting the drivers, there's that rising demand for really robust safety and quality assurance, especially in aerospace and automotive.
Makes sense. And how is the competitive play shaping up? Who are the companies in this space, and what are they doing?
The report describes it as highly competitive,
Mm.
which you expect, I suppose.
Yeah.
Companies are innovating rapidly, they're integrating new technologies, expanding their service capabilities, all to gain an edge.
Are they, playing nice, or are there big strategic moves happening?
Mhm.
Mergers, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Common strategies include mergers, acquisitions, and strategic partnerships, often aimed at boosting global reach or their technical capabilities.
Getting bigger or smarter or both.
Pretty much. And a significant focus, the report notes, is also on developing more portable, more automated, and AI-powered solutions.
Automation and AI again.
Yeah, this seems like a direct response to both the demand for efficiency and maybe, just maybe, starting to address that skilled labor issue we talked about.
Oh, that's interesting. Leveraging tech to potentially ease the labor restraint. Does the report give any specific examples, like recent competitive moves or innovations?
It does, actually. Looking back at January 2024, there's an example of a company called Volero.
Okay.
They launched a new high-temperature ultrasonic testing payload, but integrated onto drones.
UT on a drone for hot surfaces.
Exactly. This is clever because it allows inspectors to perform UT on hot surfaces, say in petrochemical plants, without shutting down operations.
That avoids costly downtime.
Directly tackles that issue, yeah.
That's a great illustration of how tech is adapting to specific industry pain points. Any others?
Yeah. Another one mentioned is A++ Gap. They partnered with IDIATA, which is an automotive testing center.
Okay, automotive focus here.
Right. They're developing a comprehensive testing structure for advanced driver assistance features ADS, using 5G connectivity and real-life simulation environments.
Wow, so NDT is moving into testing things like sensors and vehicle communication.
Exactly. Ensuring safety in cutting-edge automotive tech, things like vehicle communication, even cybersecurity aspects. It's not just about cracks in metal anymore.
It's fascinating to see how NDT is becoming integral to the latest tech, like ADS and drones. Okay, let's break this market down further. The report segments it in different ways. First, by what's being offered. Services versus equipment. Which slice of the pie is bigger right now?
Services. Services currently dominate the market.
Okay, and why is that? Why do industries tend to opt for services rather than buying all the gear themselves?
Well, the report explains it's kind of multifaceted. Outsourcing gives companies access to highly specialized expertise.
The skilled people we mentioned.
Exactly. And access to expensive advanced equipment without that heavy upfront capital investment.
Right, avoids the big check.
Yeah. It offers flexibility, it can be more cost-effective for specific projects, ensures timely inspections, and importantly, helps companies meet complex regulatory requirements without having to build entire internal NDT departments from scratch.
Okay, so services is the larger piece. But is the equipment side of things growing? You mentioned tech advancements.
Absolutely, and here's where it gets really interesting. The report points out that equipment is actually the fastest growing segment.
Huh. That seems a bit counterintuitive if everyone's outsourcing services. What's driving the faster growth in equipment sales then?
Yeah, it seems odd at first, but this growth is strongly linked to those technological advancements we keep talking about and increasing demand, especially in rapidly industrializing regions like Asia Pacific.
Right.
The key factor seems to be the integration of automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence into NDT equipment.
So it's the advanced equipment that's selling fast.
Precisely. Industries like aerospace, automotive, power generation, they're specifically demanding these smarter, more efficient tools. Tools that can perform inspections faster, maybe with greater precision, often requiring less direct human intervention for the routine stuff.
Okay, so the growth isn't just selling more of the same tools, but selling more advanced, often automated or AI-enhanced equipment. That fits with the trends.
Makes much more sense that way, yeah.
How about breaking it down by the actual test method used? The report lists quite a few. Ultrasonic, visual, magnetic particle, liquid penetrant, eddy current, radiographic, and others. Which methods are the most common right now?
Ultrasonic testing, or UT, is identified as the dominant method in the market.
Okay. Why does UT hold that top spot? What makes it so popular?
Its versatility and accuracy are really key. UT can detect both surface and subsurface defects.
Inside the material.
Exactly. Across a wide range of materials and thicknesses, too. It provides results relatively quickly, and it's often cost-effective. Plus, its broad application across those critical industries, aerospace, automotive, oil and gas, where detecting internal flaws is just vital. That drives its widespread use.
So UT is kind of the versatile workhorse of NDT.
You could definitely call it that, yeah.
Is there a method segment that's showing particularly rapid growth, like the equipment segment?
Yes, eddy current testing, or ECT, is highlighted as a rapidly expanding segment.
Eddy current. Okay, what's fueling that acceleration for ECT?
The report attributes its growth to its speed, precision, and adaptability. A big factor is the adoption of something called eddy current array systems, ECA.
ECA?
Yeah, they can test multiple points simultaneously, which significantly increases efficiency. Big time saver.
Okay, faster inspections.
Right. And advancements making ECT equipment more portable and automated are also helping its adoption. Plus, its integration with Industry 4.0 concepts.
Board factories?
Yeah, like real-time data analytics, wireless monitoring. That makes it valuable for predictive maintenance strategies in modern industrial settings.
So ECT is getting faster, more connected, and slotting into these smart factory concepts. Got it. Finally, let's look at the market from a vertical perspective. Which industries are the biggest users and which are growing fastest? The report lists oil and gas, manufacturing, aerospace and defense, construction, automotive, power generation, and others. Which industry commands the largest market share?
The oil and gas sector holds the largest market share.
Okay. Given the critical infrastructure and, frankly, the potential risks in that industry, that feels intuitive.
Yeah.
What specific points does the report raise for why oil and gas is so dominant?
Well, it really boils down to critical safety needs in often harsh environments. Think pipelines, refineries, offshore rigs.
Right.
They require frequent, rigorous inspections to prevent catastrophic failures. Things like corrosion, cracks.
Stuff you really don't want happening.
Definitely not. The high regulatory standards in this sector are a major driver, too, and the immense cost associated with any downtime means companies are heavily invested in preventing failures through NDT.
High stakes equals high demand for testing. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Which industry vertical, then, is projected to be the fastest growing?
The report forecasts aerospace and defense as the fastest growing vertical.
Okay, A&D. And what's propelling that growth?
Well, strict safety requirements are obviously paramount, as you can imagine when building aircraft and defense systems. But it's also driven by technological advancements within that sector itself, and increasing global defense spending doesn't hurt either.
Right.
The demand for inspecting the integrity of critical components in advanced aircraft, spacecraft, weaponry, it's immense. And the report points out that the integration of AI, machine learning, and automated testing is significantly enhancing NDT capabilities specifically within this vertical.
It certainly makes sense that industries at the cutting edge of technology are also pushing the boundaries for testing those technologies. Okay, so we've mapped out the size, the drivers, trends, restraints, and how it breaks down by type and industry. Let's zoom out now and look at the global stage. Which regions currently lead, and where is the fastest growth projected to happen?
Okay, looking at the regional breakdown for 2025, North America holds the largest slice of the pie. It accounts for over 37% of the global market value.
Like a third.
Yeah, estimated at USD 7,010.50 million in 2025. Its projected CAGR through 2033 is a solid 9.0%.
9%. Still strong growth. And the report gives us a peek inside North America too, right? Like the U.S. versus Canada.
It does, yeah. The U.S. is the dominant market within North America, no surprise there, largely driven by those stringent regulations we talked about. Canada and Mexico also contribute significantly. Canada's growth is spurred partly by infrastructure development, and Mexico's seeing rising adoption of advanced technologies.
Okay. What about Europe? How does it stack up?
Europe is also a major market, holding over 29% of the share, valued at USD 5,494.72 million in 2025. And its projected CGR is actually a bit higher than North America's at 9.5%.
Oh, interesting.
Germany is the largest market in Europe, with growth tied to automation and robotics adoption fitting for Germany. The UK shows a particularly strong CGR, over 10%, driven by its significant aerospace and automotive industries.
Okay, so North America and Europe are the current heavyweights, the big established markets. Where's the real engine of future growth? Where is it happening fastest?
That would be Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
APAC, while holding around 24% of the market share in 2025, valued at USD 4,547.35 million, it's projected to grow at the fastest CGR globally, a really significant 13.2% through 2033.
Wow, 13.2%. That's substantially higher than North America or Europe. What's fueling that kind of acceleration in APAC?
It's driven by rapid industrialization, massive infrastructure development, think bridges, railways, power plants, and increasing adoption of advanced manufacturing processes across the region.
Makes sense.
China is the largest market within APAC, boosted by its expanding aerospace and automotive sectors. But notably, India shows the highest projected CGR within APAC, over 15%.
15% for India. That really stands out in the
It
data.
really does. Indicates very strong future potential there. Alongside other key players like South Korea, which is pushing advanced NDT technologies, and Japan.
So APAC is clearly the future growth engine. What about the other regions mentioned in the report? South America, Middle East.
Right. South America represents a smaller but growing market. It's got over 3.8% share with a strong 10.2% CAGR predicted, driven partly by oil and gas expansion in countries like Brazil and technology adoption elsewhere, like Argentina.
Okay. And the Middle East.
Yeah.
Also oil and gas driven, I imagine.
Heavily influenced by oil and gas, yes. Also, big infrastructure projects. It holds around 4% share with a 10.5% CAGR. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are the key markets there.
And finally, Africa.
Africa is the smallest region in terms of current share, around 2.2%, but it shows a strong projected CGR too, 10.9%, with growth in countries like South Africa and Nigeria linked to sectors like, again, oil and gas, but also mining.
So that paints a really clear picture, doesn't it? North America and Europe lead today in terms of market size, but APAC is absolutely poised for the most dynamic growth going forward.
Definitely.
With solid, albeit smaller, contributions coming from South America, the Middle East, and Africa as well.
It shows that the demand for NDT isn't just concentrated in a few, developed economies. It's a truly global requirement, expanding rapidly pretty much everywhere. Critical infrastructure and manufacturing are growing.
Okay, let's try and unpack what all this means for you listening. This deep dive into the market report shows us that the seemingly niche world of non-destructive testing is actually a massive, dynamic market.
Huge.
Projected to more than double in size over the next 8 years. It's propelled by ever-advancing technology, the critical needs of industries like aerospace and oil and gas, and increasing regulatory demands for safety and quality.
Can't forget the regulations.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And while services currently form the backbone of the market,
That's the biggest slice now.
the fastest growth is happening in the equipment sector, particularly in automated and AI-integrated systems.
The smart tools.
Yeah. UT, ultrasonic testing, remains the go-to method, the workhorse. But ECT, eddy current testing, is quickly expanding thanks to tech improvements and fitting into modern industrial practices.
Like Industry 4.0.
Exactly. And globally, while North America and Europe are the established leaders today, Asia-Pacific is clearly the future growth engine.
It really highlights how NDT isn't just some obscure technical process. It's a fundamental layer of safety and reliability that underpins so much of the modern world.
Right. From the cars you drive, the planes you might fly in,
The bridges you cross.
the power for your home. It's everywhere. It's the unseen quality control department for the physical world, really.
Well put.
And, if we loop back to one of the challenges this report identified, that lack of skilled professionals,
Skills gap, yeah.
and hold it up against one of the key trends, the rapid advancement and adoption of automation and AI in NDT equipment.
This raises a really important question, doesn't it?
It really does. Will technology, particularly automation and AI, eventually bridge that skills gap? By making NDT processes maybe less reliant on highly specialized human operators for certain tasks? Or, given the sheer scale of the projected market growth and the increasing complexity of materials and structures needing inspection, will the demand for those highly specialized human experts continue to outpace what technology alone can solve?
Potentially remaining a real limiting factor for this vital, expanding market.
Exactly. It's a fascinating tension, I think, to consider as this market unfolds over the next decade. Something for you to think about.